What's going on, everybody? It's Joel here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Reebok Speed TRs in 2020. Okay, so the original Speed TRs were one of my favorite training shoes when they first came out, somewhere in like 2016. These were actually one of like the first shoes that I reviewed, and I really liked them then, and I really like them now. But they are not without their faults. This shoe is pretty much the same exact shoe that came out then. Even the colorways are pretty much like rehashes of old colorways that they had throughout the lifetime of the Speed TRs. They sold these for a while, at least up until like the 2018 games or so, maybe the 2017 games, maybe right before the 2018 games. Anyways, there were some really cool colorways for the Speed TRs. Right now, some of them are okay. This white one for sure is the best one. It's clean. It looks really good on the feet. It's got that understated look, and it actually doesn't show dirt that well. Mine are still pretty white. I have had to wipe them down a couple times, but otherwise, like, the mesh on mine hasn't really gotten too dirty. And then the like polyurethane parts of the upper, they're easily cleaned. So the upper itself has a few different materials. We have like a lighter kind of mesh around the vamp area of the shoe, and then under it there's a little bit of a heavier mesh in there, and then on top of that lighter mesh there is like that polyurethane overlay that should improve foot containment in certain areas of the shoe. But overall, the shoe itself, it's really flexible, it's really lightweight, and the upper itself is pretty comfortable to wear. The toe on the shoe has more of like a point to it than like your standard nanos, which kind of have like more of like a flatter toe. I really like that. It fits my Morton's toe very well. And then on top of the front area of the shoe, or the toe box area of the shoe, there is a little bit of like a padded overlay or toe bumper. And then at the back of the shoe, there are two more overlays to act kind of like a heel counter. And then there is an actual material heel counter like embedded inside of the back quarter panel of the shoe. The tongue is like a light, breathable, perforated tongue. Very comfortable. There's not really too much going on there. And then the laces, I don't remember if these were the same laces as before, but they are a flat lace that has a speckle to it, and I think that the laces are great. They stay tied, and they're a lot nicer than even some nano shoe laces. The insole of the shoe is glued in there, but you can actually peel it out. So this is actually the first time I'm peeling it out, so you can hear the glue coming undone. I'm not going to peel it all the way out, but it's a pretty thin sock liner. It's comfortable enough. The drop on the shoe is 3 millimeters. That's what I remember it being, so I don't think that that has changed, because pretty much nothing else on the shoe has changed. The midsole and the outsole on the shoe has not changed at all. It looks like it still has that same kind of like design from the original ones, which had like the CF74 thing going on. Let's see here. No, it has changed. Like they changed up like the print on it. It says like CR5CC or CR5C, and I don't think that really means anything, but it's actually printed on to the side here as well, and that's where the CF74 thing, which I actually have no clue where that's from. Some people say it's like the time where Greg Glassman like thought of CrossFit, but anyways, the midsole on the shoe is comfortable. It's very thin. It's not like what you would think a running shoe would be. This is not like an actual running shoe. It's more of a lightweight training shoe. The outsole on the shoe is the best part of the shoe. The outsole is extremely grippy, and when you go on a run, you're gonna notice like the forefoot of the shoe like pulling away, or it's like scratching away at the ground. It's actually kind of crazy. So grip on the shoe has always been excellent. I think this would actually be a good dual purpose like trail shoe, just because of just how grippy the outsole on the shoe. It's a full rubber throughout, and then there are some flex screws in the toe box. They actually did make like a turf shoe from the Speed TRs in like the 2016 games, which I never got to try, but somebody else was thinking that these would be a good all-terrain shoe as well. And then there is a midfoot shank that is right here. It's a hard plastic material, and that gives you a little bit more spring in your step when you're running in these shoes. And then the back part of the shoe is labeled the stability zone. And that is because the way that the outsole or midsole is shaped is that it rides out a little bit further than the actual silhouette of the upper. So you do get a little bit more contact area with the ground from the outsole and midsole design of the shoe. And if you're looking to do rope climbs, it does have a small area of the rope pro that hasn't changed. It's still in the medial part of the shoe right there. So really there are no build quality differences between the 2016 model Speed TR and the 2020 model. The only changes that you'll see are cosmetic differences, and that is just because the CrossFit branding is gone. There are no deltas on this shoe. All of the CrossFit branding has been replaced with Reebok branding and vectors. So that is a good thing, but also a bad thing, because one of, if not the biggest problem with the original Speed TR was its durability. It just wasn't the most durable shoe. So the area of wear in that shoe, or this shoe as well, that's probably going to happen, is that this area of the metatarsal joints right on top of the toe box, the mesh right here would develop holes in it. And that, I think, was from the rower straps, because really nothing else makes contact with that area of the shoe. I guess, you know, the constant bending of that area of the shoe could have a part to play in it, but really the only thing that makes contact with that area is rower straps, and that is not the most abrasive thing that you're going to find in a gym. So that's a worrying thing. I hope that maybe they did something behind the scenes to this mesh, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels like the same exact mesh that was on the original 2016 model. And finally, the best feature of the Speed TRs is that they only weigh 9.6 ounces for a men's size 10. That's ridiculous in 2020 for a training shoe. Everything weighs so much nowadays. It's really refreshing to put on a lightweight pair of training shoes that's actually pretty good. And one more thing that I missed is that these shoes do have the TPU heel clip. I think these were the first shoe that actually had something like that for handstand push-ups. So when sizing your Speed TRs, I'm going to say go with your normal training shoe size. I've worn these from a 9 all the way up to a size 10 now. If anything, they do fit a little bit on the bigger side. So if you had more narrow feet, I'm going to say that maybe going down a half size wouldn't be a bad idea. But if you have a wider foot, I think going with your just true to size is going to be the best option for you. The toe box on these shoes is actually pretty wide. I really like the pointed toe. It accommodates Morton's toe very well, which is something that I have, and I really appreciate that on this shoe. The midfoot on this shoe fits pretty neutral, but initially it will feel like it's a little bit more on the narrow side. Just break it in and it will feel more comfortable over time. The upper on the shoe is very accommodating. It doesn't hold your foot in the greatest. It's a little bit on the flimsy side. So that's why I think this shoe, even though like its platform does look a little bit more narrow, I think it'll still fit a wide variety of foot shapes pretty well, except maybe the really extremely wide-footed people out there. The Speed TRs excel in the flexibility department. These are some of the most flexible training shoes that you can get your hands on in 2020. And that's one of my favorite things about this shoe. That is really the defining feature of the shoe, is that it's a lightweight, it's a comfortable shoe. You could wear it for lighter weight Metcons. You can wear it for runs all the way up to like 10K. I'd feel comfortable wearing these for pretty much all the runs that you're going to do in a typical Metcon. They're very flexible, so doing burpees in them is very, very comfortable. It feels like you have nothing on your feet, at least compared to training shoes nowadays. Doing like plyometric work in these shoes feels also very comfortable. They're extremely responsive because of the more minimal midsole that still provides pretty good comfort. The grip on these shoes is excellent, so it makes agility work very well, hence the name Speed TR. This is something that you're going to want to wear for some of those faster paced workouts, something that you don't have to worry about that much stability when it comes to like lifting movements, but you have enough so that you can handle the weights when you need to. The flexibility of these shoes is going to be its number one selling point because the stability is just okay. I think they're fine for most lifts. I squatted well into the 300s. I wasn't the most confident squatting in these shoes, to be honest with you. Same thing goes with deadlifting. Though the minimal platform should be good, it just never felt all that right to me when doing my deadlifts. It was a little bit squishy, or just kind of felt like I had a layer of cushion under my foot that I could have done without. The overall flexibility does detract from the stability of the shoe, just because, when you land in certain angles, your foot is going to bend and flex, and maybe some ways that you would not want when lifting. So for Olympic weightlifting movements, these are probably not the best. I think that they'll be okay for most people, and they should handle most of the weights that you're doing in a typical Metcon pretty well. But if you're doing 1 rep maxes, you're doing any kind of the heavier Metcons, it definitely wouldn't be my first choice. For Fran, I think that these will be good. I think they'll be good for Diane, pretty much any of the benchmark girl workouts. I think the Speed TRs are going to be just fine. Okay, so I just finished the review, or recording the review, of the Speed TRs, and I forgot one very interesting fact. And that fact is that these were the preferred shoe of Matt Frazier before, when they had the shoe ban on all the other brands in the CrossFit Games. These are the shoes that Matt Frazier wore in regionals in 2017 or 2018, the games in 2018. So the performance of these shoes is definitely proven. In 2016, I recall the Speed TRs retailing for $110. I could be wrong about that. I should probably just go back and watch my video. But in 2020, the Speed TRs only retail for $90, which I think is a steal when it comes to a training shoe like this. I love wearing my Speed TRs. I forget how much I really liked wearing these shoes. I will pretty much wear these every day of the week if I could. The only times where I don't think I would want to wear the Speed TRs are my really heavy squat days, my max out squat days, or if I'm doing anything over 90% on my squat. That's the one area where I think that they might be a little bit too flexible. But if you like more of a minimalist platform when you squat, they might be a good choice for you. I think that they're an okay deadlifting shoe. I think that they are an okay Olympic weightlifting shoe. For most of the people shopping in this price range, I think they're going to be fine for you as far as stability goes. And if you are just a seasoned veteran CrossFitter, I think that these are going to be fine for you as well, because I think you've developed the body control and strength where your shoes wouldn't matter as much, and then you could use these for the lighter weight Metcons. They would perform better than some of the heavier training shoes that are out at the moment. I really think that the Speed TRs are a shoe for pretty much anybody. The only problem about this shoe is that the durability has not had the greatest track record. And looking at the shoe now, I think that it's going to be the same deal as it was 4 years ago when these shoes first came out. The durability is probably not going to be the greatest. But if you stay away from the rower, maybe rope climbs, I think the Speed TRs should last for a pretty decent amount of time. I know that these are a fan favorite. A lot of people like them in the community. And if that was you, definitely pick up another pair because they are still awesome. And if you're a first-time Speed TR buyer, then I think you should for sure pick these shoes up. Just stay away from the things that are potentially hard on your training shoes. So if you guys have any questions about the Speed TR 2020, feel free to leave them in the comment section. And as always, guys, please hit that like button, subscribe, and thanks for watching.